One of the most common questions I get is how you find these big moving stocks before they make the runs. And there's a very specific way you do this, so make sure you stick around. What's up team, it's John from BT and we're back today for another video. If you didn't catch the market last week, it went absolutely crazy. We had a ton of huge runs in the market, specifically in the solar sector. We had stocks like SPI that went up over 4,500%, and there was a lot of money to be made specifically off of sympathy plays. And so that's what we're going over in today's video. We're going over hot sectors, parabolic moves, and sympathy plays. And so if you want to help support our channel, you can hit the like button, hit the sub button below, and if you click the join button, it's only $4.99 a month, and it's an incredible way to help support our completely free day trading, swing trading, and investing content. And so with all of that being said, let's take a look at these strategies. Okay, so like I said, today's class is on parabolic movers and hot sectors with sympathy plays. These are important because these happen consistently throughout the year, basically like clockwork. You'll see different sectors pop off and move in the market, and if you understand the movement and you can watch and pay attention to these sectors, there's a lot of areas where you can actually profit from it if you kind of trade it in the correct way. And so when we say a stock goes parabolic, we mean the rate at which the stock is moving has increased substantially. In trading terms, this means that a stock is moving up in drastically large percentages, and parabolic movers happen multiple times a year. And so when this does happen, it usually signifies a sector starting to trend in the market and popping off. And again, like I said, just spitballing off of the top of my head this year, we've had, SPACs have been moving a lot. That's kind of a more recent thing. But we've also had, obviously, some sectors go crazy because of COVID with medical supplies. I can think of like APT, vaccine stocks. The most recent one was Kodak, not the camera company anymore. It's a vaccine stock as well. And so these things happen multiple times every year, and understanding them is key if you're going to look to trade them. And so how do we spot these? With parabolic moves, you'll notice an increase in volume. What you want to look for specifically with parabolic movers is the parabolic curve. That just means the stock is going up faster than it's slowing down, if that makes sense. So it's going up higher and higher and higher with each push. And so, like this says, you want to look for unusually high volume relative to the stock, sector, and market. This should produce a curved appearance on your chart and can help you identify when a stock is beginning these type of moves. And so just to show you, this is a little parabolic curve here. You can see the rate at which the stock is moving up. It's putting in higher lows and higher lows and higher lows and higher highs as well. And it puts this curve in there. That's how you're going to see that the stock is kind of going crazy. And that's when you really want to start to focus on it. This is an example, I think, from a few years ago, but you can see here's another one that's probably a little bit better of an example. And again, you can see the curve at which the stock is going up with is increasing and getting sharper and sharper and sharper as its curve. That's something that you can look for. That just means there's a lot of volume coming in and ultimately making a sector or stock go crazy. And so we can look at why these happen. Parabolic moves happen for a number of different reasons, really. It's not any one reason stocks do this. Usually these are low float stocks, and so the float involved is usually pretty small that allows a stock to ultimately do this. I would say most parabolic movers are less than 100 million in the float. Most of them are probably less than 50 million. You do have stocks that go parabolic that have larger floats as well, and so the float isn't the end-all be-all of a stock being able to go parabolic or not, but it is a pretty important impacting thing that you want to pay attention to, which is float. Smaller floats are usually going to have stocks that react and have more momentum, and so with that, when you're looking for these type of things, maybe if you're trading some sympathy plays, you can look for low float stocks to give you that momentum that you're looking for. They can also be caused just by pure pump and dumps. I think Kodak was probably one of those. I know somebody sold millions of shares at the top of it, and that will happen as well from insiders in the company just pumping these different companies up. Some of them are shady, some of the news and catalysts are legit with positive data and stuff like that. But again, you just want to look for the curve, and you want to be able to identify these things so you can understand what sectors and markets are moving. Now we're going to go over some history of these type of moves in the market, just the last few years really, and go over some examples of it. Late in 2017, we had the crypto boom. We had Bitcoin going crazy, increasing drastically. With that, we had stocks like MARA, RIOT, blockchain, Bitcoin, and crypto-related stocks that started to just absolutely go crazy. If you look at the screen here, we can see some examples of DPW on the left, and you can see MARA on the right. These were crypto-related stocks that, just based off of the entire sector of Bitcoin and crypto, these things increased as well off of Sympathy. Late 2018, just to give you another example, we had the Chinese construction boom, where Chinese construction companies started to go parabolic. We had CCCL, YECO leading the way, but there were a ton of other stocks that pushed up off of that Sympathy. And this is really where you can start to understand, if you pay close attention to the market, you can find moves like this and profit based off of that Sympathy. Again, on the left, we have CCCL, Chinese construction stock. On the right, we have YECO, another Chinese construction stock, all popping off around November of last year, or of November of 2018, I'm sorry. We can look to 2020 again, and with 2020, we've had COVID, and so that has impacted these sectors significantly. We've experienced a boom in vaccine stocks, masks, medical supplies, and most recently we had electric vehicles and EV plays. Just some of those EV stocks that were popping off. We had, I believe, NKLA is one. I'm not 100% sure if that's an EV play, but I know we had NIO. What was another EV play? We've had a bunch of EV stocks basically popping off with batteries. Cars. Tesla obviously is probably the biggest one, the most well-known EV play that's been popping off in 2020. But we've had a number of different parabolic moves in sectors within this market this year. And so those are the ones that we're most recently paying attention to. And understand that these things happen every year without fail. There's always a sector that's popping off in the market that you can pay attention to and catch sympathy from. Also this year, we've had special purpose acquisition companies, and currently they've been very hot in the market. They've been putting in some really big percentage moves. Examples of some of these recently include SPCE, NKLA, SPAQ, DraftKings. SPACs are basically companies that go public for the sole purpose of raising money or funding to acquire another company. So they IPO as a shell company basically, and then they acquire another company. They've been having a lot of hype lately, and they've also been causing some really big runs in the market, some really parabolic moves. All right, and so the next question is, how do you ultimately trade these moves? How do you trade these parabolic moves and sympathy plays? And so first, for long bias traders, scanners like Trade Ideas can help you identify these moves and these big percentage moves early. Remember, when trading these moves, it's probably going to be beneficial for you to scale down. Unless you're taking kind of a YOLO approach, you're going to want to scale down to protect yourself, because a lot of these parabolic moves and a lot of these hot sectors just have huge range stocks. The range of the range of these stocks are incredibly large, to where they're moving 50, 60% a day sometimes more than that. And so it's probably going to be a wise thing to scale down as you learn how to trade these moves in these type of trades. A lot of the time, new traders don't understand the benefits of scaling down. They would try to keep a universal share size. But I think a lot of the time, especially if you're entering a new market with a new strategy, you're going to want to scale down your sizing to protect yourself. And that's going to allow you to get more experience in the market with trading these strategies, because if you just start trading them with large size or with consistent size that you've been using previously on previously traded strategies that you're actually consistent with, you're just going to end up losing your account before you can really learn. In ways of approach, you simply trade your long patterns. For parabolic moves specifically, for me, I love trading 1 minute pullbacks and basically the 3-bar play. I think that presents itself a ton in a lot of these parabolic moves. If you see a parabolic curve, you're going to see a lot of 1 minute pullbacks and 3-bar plays there for you to attack. And I think the 1 minute pullback is probably my favorite strategy for this. Obviously, another surefire way to profit from these type of moves is simply sympathy trades. I think that can be one of the most profitable and easy to understand strategies in the market. But you can look at it around 10 a.m. market time, YECO started to spike. At 10 a.m., this stock started to spike. Again, it's a Chinese construction stock, and you can see during that move, it ripped up here, had a huge move, broke previous highs, broke out of that range, and just started to go parabolic here with a really nice curve going up. Now, the key here is not necessarily trying to trade this one, but once you see a move like this, you can look for other stocks in the same sector to react later on that you could profit from. And so again, the last one was at 10 a.m. Hours later, this looks like at about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, CCCL, another Chinese construction stock, starts to move up and rip at 2 p.m. market time. And then you can even see, again, a big run the next day happened. And so if you can find hot sectors in the market and then look for stocks in those same sectors that have underperformed relative to the sector, you can many times get a really nice profitable sympathy play based off of that. You just have to use your research. To give you a more recent example of how you can profit from this type of sympathy play, let's take a look at SPI from earlier this week. SPI on Wednesday the 23rd started to really rip up in pre-market, going parabolic. Eventually it doubled and tripled later on in the next day or two, but shortly after SPI's initial push, a lot of other solar stocks started to run as well. There was SUNW, PECK, which merged, and the solar sector really got hot, and a lot of traders were able to profit from that sympathy earlier in the week. And that's one of the things that you really want to understand about these sympathy plays, is that if you do your research on why these companies are spiking and you notice a trend in the market, you could take advantage of that trend, buy in on sympathy plays, and try to take some money out the market with it. And I think that's one of the easiest and surefire ways to profit, especially as a new trader. Still, at the same time though, usually these are going to ultimately fail in the long run, and so once you get your move and you take the profit that you are ultimately looking for, be sure to get out and move on to the next one. These typically fail, they almost never hold their gains, and so they're really not meant for long-term moves unless you're maybe trading SPACs or a little bit longer term investments. But if you're just looking to take advantage of parabolic stocks, remember, get in, make your money, and get out. Anyways team, that's it for this one. Remember, if you want to help support us, you can click the join button. It's only $4.99 a month, and it's a great way to help support our completely free content. You can also go check out our very own Discord. We got some great traders hanging out every single market open. You can also go check out Trader Mike's Discord, which is a completely free Discord with a lot of talented penny stock traders. I'll include all of that in the description below. Good luck in the markets, have a good weekend, and we'll see you all Monday morning. Thanks for watching, team.